What's up? We are live, Kansas City Star audience. I am here with Conductor Williams, local artist, producer extraordinaire. He's one of the performers tonight from Middle of the Map Fest. It is a crazy weekend. We've got De La Soul in town, we've got Garth in town, and I guess most importantly for right now, we have you in town, right?
Yeah, that's what's good right now.
So let the people know who you are.
Well, I'm Conductor Williams. I've been a mainstay producer and MC and artist for our community for probably the last 10 to 12 years.
Really? And you're performing this weekend 2 times over, correct?
Yeah, so tomorrow with Heartfelt Anarchy at the Tank Room at 4:20 and with Stick Figure at Crossroads at 7:30, I believe.
And Heartfelt Anarchy is actually a duo, correct?
Yeah. It's myself playing the instrumentals live on a drum machine, and then the MC Les Ismore. He's gonna come out, put some vocals on it. But yeah, we have an album. Our debut album came out 2012, so it's been a minute, but we're cooking new music and everything. So
Okay. Nice. Let's talk about your production style. How do you describe the music that you make?
Sample-based hip hop, raw, soulful. Raw and soulful would be the two best words to describe what I do. But sample-based, any form of media, records, VHS, anything that makes a sound that I feel I can manipulate, I transform it into this beautiful thing of hip hop.
So sticking to indie artists and SoundCloud artists, let's kind of pivot into the local scene. A lot of people really don't know exactly how to peg Kansas City's production sound. You like New York, you've got the boom bap. West Coast, you got G-funk, you got gangster rap. Even like in the South, you have trap music. What do you think is the personality of Kansas City's rap scene? Like, how would you describe our production sound? Do we have a production sound?
At one time, we did. Early 2000s, late 90s, we had a sound that kind of felt more Bay Area influenced than anything.
The Mac Dre influence and the hyphy and right.
But now, man, with the internet and social media and being able to create a story of like seeing all of these artists that are creating out of their bedrooms that we never would have heard in 1999 or 2000. So now you kind of get like this gumbo of a pool of all different kinds of music. So I wouldn't even be able to say that Kansas City necessarily has a sound. But if you made me pick something, I would say it probably is still a bit more West Coast influence as far as beats per minute and synthesizers, heavy bass, a lot of percussions, a lot of high-end percussions, 808 kits and stuff like that for all the beat nerds out there.
Yeah, I'm not a beat nerd, but I think I understand what you're saying. You're saying that like kind of like the DJ Mustard kind of sound that we're talking about. So in that same vein, what are some local producers or artists from Kansas City in the scene right now, whether they be new artists or older, more seasoned artists? Who is D Will filling from the local hip hop scene?
There's a group called the Extraordinaires. My man Dominique Sanders and Leonard Destroy. They did a lot of work on the last Cess Crew album. That was a Strange Music release. Those two cats right there. And Duncan Burnett. I mean, there's so many. I mean, the bands that are gonna play tonight here at Mills, fantastic production by my man Ross and the Full Bloods. So when it comes to hip hop, I just sit in my studio, bundled away, listening to old records and creating, opposed to like listening to a lot of stuff, you know.
So you don't need any. So you just.
But for sure, the Extraordinaires. Have you heard any of the Extraordinaire stuff?
I have.
Yeah, fantastic music, man. And Dominique Sanders, as a solo producer, is fantastic. There's also another cat named Rick Mon too, and Rick is very, very dope.
I actually saw Duncan Barnett live a few weeks ago at a Why Not event. So shout out to Duncan Barnett. I really like his sound a lot. Big day for you tomorrow. You have Heartfelt Anarchy, you have your own show, and you're also the DJ for Stick Figure, who's opening for De La Soul.
Absolutely.
What are the nerves like? Are there any nerves?
No, Stick and I, we've been collaborating since the early 2000s, and I've actually produced a lot of the music that you'll hear tomorrow night on stage. I've produced probably about 40% of what we're going to perform in our set tomorrow. So he's like my first cousin. So a lot of love there. He's been to my grandmama's house and all of that. So we have a way of calming one another just by just jokes and stories. But seasoned vets, it's going to be entertaining for sure.
So I saw on your SoundCloud you have a mixtape, The Damn Gina.
Yeah.
So are you a Martin fan?
Yeah, I'm diehard Martin fan. Everybody that visits my studio, they know every time I'm recording, Martin is on. Tomorrow, when I play live, I got a little TV, Martin will be on. It's like my little blanket. It's my comfort blanket.
I have to say, I do like Martin, but I think it's wildly overrated.
No, man.
Fresh Prince on mine. Fresh Prince all day.
Yeah, I would agree, but Martin is just, man, if you really think about that show, they shot everything in the same room, essentially. Like, I think that's just brilliant. And as a creative, I create better with less. So if you give me a machine that's got all these effects and it does all this stuff, I kind of almost don't know where to start. So I appreciate when you take nothing like they did, Martin, Tommy, Gina Cole, all them, and they just made characters up using one another. I enjoy that. And that's what I try to do with my music too. I mean, it's a record. You find the best part of the record, which what hip-hop was based on. You chop it up, you loop it, you get a feeling, you drum it, you have your mans come play bass, or you pull out a bass and play a bass line. He comes in and raps. Like, that's how my process works. And that's why I relate to Martin, because it just seems like they were on the fly with a lot of them jokes and everything. So
that's a good tie-in. So, I mean, and that's something that I've noticed about you. You do a lot of live instrumentation, and you kind of minimize the use of equipment. So talk to me about that. Like, why do you go that route when so many producers today are using equipment and using the beat machine to make the majority of their beats? What value do you still see in using live instruments to make production?
It's a feel, it is a moment in time that I enjoy the moment in time that you can't get back. I've always liked that. That's why I enjoy jazz so much. I enjoy that nuance of a mistake in the live set. I enjoy that music. And when you're playing a bass, you have to be familiar with the instrument that you're playing, and you can feel that. I think people feel players more than they hear a great musician. You feel it first, and then you hear it. And so when I'm in the studio by myself, I'm just trying to create a feeling that can go through the speakers and to the heart of somebody. And that's why I think live music does that the best. It's like all impact.
All right, people, you've heard it here with the Kansas City Stars.